Hey, this is Tony Tattoo, and I'm coming to you from the spectacular Kildares Pub in the deep southwest of Calgary, Alberta, and this is Wide Open YYC. Today, I want to talk about when concerts go wrong. And a lot of people don't see, the backstage of what happens in these events that happen, but they sometimes catch little things that happen on stage, especially when there's a person lip syncing to a song and all of a sudden the DAT tape stops and then rewinds to the beginning of the song. that was funny. Anyway, I myself had a few close calls on stage. I like to kind of give you one story from the Dirty Deeds era. Dirty Deeds was an old band I was with in the 80s, and we've reformed now. We're called Dirty Deeds DDC, so I had to give one shout out to the boys. And so, if you see us around, check us out. It's probably the most fun you can have with your clothes on. Anyway, there was one instant where we were on the road with a light man, or a roadie, who had a pet boa constrictor, and he took it on the road with him. And since we did the song 18 by Alice Cooper, we thought it'd be a good idea to bring this snake on stage, and I'd wear the snake and do 18, and it'd be all grand. We actually did it in rehearsal so that the snake and myself could get used to each other, and because the odor, they really cling on to odors and stuff like that. Although they are deaf, and we didn't know that. So we started into the song live on stage, and never realized that the fog machine really freaks these things out. So, and I hate fog machines myself, as everybody knows. So anyway, we go into the song 18, and all of a sudden the fog machine goes off. And all of a sudden, the snake freaks out. It's like all over the shop, and it's all over me. And I'm just like, 18, get this fucking thing off me. And so Rhodey came up, grabbed the snake off. The show went on without a hitch. Funny part is that there were people coming up to us at the end of the show going, hey, we want to come and see you tomorrow night because that was a funny bit. We want you to do that again. I said, there's no fucking way. Are you kidding me? And speaking of Alice Cooper had a little glitch in his own show. They were doing a show at the Wembley Stadium in London, and they're kind of doing a rehearsal, and there's this one part where he hangs himself, so he does a hanging, and they were rehearsing it, and the piano wire safety line that was attached snapped, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's really hanging, and so the roadie kind of realized that he wasn't giving his all in the performance, and figured out that, oh my God, so he cut him down. Alice Cooper later on in the interview says, never dawned on me to check the safety line. We did 156 shows, and things just wear out, wear and tear. Didn't think about it. So there's your occupational health and safety tip right there, in case you want to fake hang yourself in your own home. But seriously, there's another issue that we'd like to bring up about health and safety, occupational health and safety, and that's fall arrest equipment. So you guys out there or girls out there that are using fall arrest equipment, take the time to inspect that stuff, because you know what? Your life is in that line, and you get paid by the hour. So basically, you want to go home safe. You don't want to be hanging anywhere. Hey, we have a good show coming up for you today. We have a few new guests on that are going to discuss topics such as our new Calgary Cavalry Football Club or soccer club, but that's a debate that our experts will get into later on. So let's rock this fucker.
Hello and welcome to a new segment on the show called Footy Talk. You all know Dan. I'm Kaz, and we are both big fans of football and very excited about the upcoming Canadian Premier League season with our own Cavalry FC. I literally grew up in this world. My dad and godfather were both professional players in England. My dad started his playing career at Chelsea, then Brighton, which is where I came onto the scene.
Chelsea.
My mum was 9 months pregnant, and my dad had just played a home game. They were watching Match of the Day, which is the equivalent of Hockey Night in Canada. She went into labour, and 2 hours later, I was here in all my glory. Dad went on to captain Reading, and he then became the first team coach both at Reading and Southampton, and then became youth development officer. To this day, in his 70s, he is still scouting. Dan, when did you become interested in football?
I got interested, same way I got interested in American football. My dad had won a sales contest of some kind, and he brought home a video game, It was called like FIFA 2002.
Excellent.
So I started playing. I knew soccer. I played it when I was a kid, but I got out of it. I'm going to call it soccer because it's just how I grew up, and that's what I'm going to call it. So that kind of got me into the video game, and then kind of kept tabs on it. And then World Cup 2010 came around, and I was working with a buddy, and he was very big into soccer, and he got me out to the bars, and I was just like, man, this atmosphere is wild, and it just kind of took off from there. Yeah, so I live here in Silverado, I'm like 5 blocks from here. You live here too. So when I heard the Canadian Premier League was getting a Calgary team, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then when I heard they were going to Spruce Meadows, I was like, okay, well,
it's on our doorstep.
Shit, gotta get season tickets.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun this season.
I do too. I really do.
But getting back to your dad there, I mean, did you guys have to move around a lot, or?
Yeah, we moved a couple of times. I came into the family when he was at Brighton, so really, we only moved once.
Now, came into the family, you got brothers? Or?
Yeah, I got a younger brother. He was a professional footballer for a while too.
Yeah?
He didn't end up sticking with it, but he did turn professional at Reading. Yeah.
Nice. So is it like you've lived there, you see how the kids grow up, you've lived in Canada, you see how the kids grow up. Is it comparable, if not the same, of, not to focus on the dark side of kids' athletics, but parents who are like, you're gonna play soccer in England, or as opposed to parents in Canada who are like, you're gonna play hockey?
Not from what I saw. If someone was, if a kid was interested, yeah, they'd encourage them. Because when you think about it, getting the gear for soccer is a lot less expensive.
A lot cheaper.
Than hockey. And that's another thing which, you know, I kind of want to promote too, because not all families can afford to put their kids into hockey.
Absolutely.
But football, basically, all you need is shin guards and football boots, or cleats as they call it here.
Or if you're a real tough son of a bitch, you don't even need shin guards.
Exactly.
No.
Oh yeah, I played field hockey, and I forgot to, during a practice, I forgot to put my shin guards on, and I felt it. One of my best friends smacked me in the shin, and I've still got the dent.
And then she was just a friend, she wasn't best friend anymore.
No, she's still my best friend. Yeah, no, it's a great sport to get involved in. So I'm really happy to see that it's, you know, this is happening, and hopefully more kids will get involved.
I love that it's happening in Canada. We come from, and we are such a multicultural and diverse nation, and soccer is the most popular sport in the world. So to me, it only makes sense that it would take root in this country where, 40% of our population are first generation, if not second generation migrants.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me that we can kind of embrace this as more generational Canadians, to bring in new people into this country and say, show us what you got.
Yeah.
Like, let's get into this. Yeah. We'll show you hockey and you'll love it. You show us some good soccer and we'll love it, and just we can kind of come together and rally around sports in this nation is something we've always been able to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a great thing, not only for sport in Canada, but also for the diversity and multiculturalism that we have here. So
much room for growth. So much room. A lot of people out there would probably know the name Bob Lenarduzzi, who was Vancouver Whitecaps hero. And it's funny that such a small world. My dad played with him at Reading for maybe a season, 2 seasons. Great guy, and came back here and did great things. So, you know, I'm sure he would absolutely love to see that it's growing, and it has so much room.
Well, so much potential too.
Yeah.
Your dad, I heard, was not a fan of the zebras. I heard a rumor your dad was not a fan of the black and white stripes.
Yeah, I got a couple of stories about my dad. He wasn't a big fan of referees.
Yeah, right. Not Newcastle. I'm talking zebras. Sorry.
And I remember watching him play a couple of times, and there was 2 particular times I remember. One is actually was actually in the paper, and my mum has that. I was watching him play a game, and he was a right back, and he was a tough guy, not dirty, but tough. And
fine line.
Yes, he always went for the ball, and he went pretty hard into this guy, and the referee was about 20 feet away, and he called for him to come over, and my dad was like, no. So the ref called again and said, no. And this happened 2 or 3 more times, and eventually the ref gave up and walked over to my dad, and he said, Stuart, why didn't you come over to me? And my dad said, there's nothing in the rule books to say that I have to come over to you. And the ref was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to book you because that was a tough tackle, whatever. And the other time was, I was just
I'm not
sitting
coming
there.
over there, you come to me.
Yeah, oh yeah. He was stubborn. I was sitting in the crowd with my head in my hands like, oh gosh, Dad. And the other time was, I remember I was playing at Oxford, and he knocked a very famous referee at the time over. And there's a famous picture that was put in the Reading Chronicle, I think, of him stepping over the referee and just walking away. He knocked him out, accidentally, but he knocked the guy out.
So accidentally knocked him out. Too bad it's just the after effect that we get. So that's great. So what can we expect if people want to go see these Calgary FC games and they want to come down to the pub, they want to see the team, they want to see us, they want to come on here and talk with us. Yeah. What's going on in the coming weeks that we can look forward to? Well,
I do know that the first home game is next Saturday, and we're going to be playing against York, York 9. So there are still season tickets available. Go onto their website, cavalryfc.canpl.ca. They do have season memberships, but they also have flex game packs, single game tickets. You know, come to Kildares first, have lunch, and then at the end of the game, come back to Kildares for post-game drinks and dinner. It's a great day out for everyone.
I'll be here signing autographs. You guys come out to me, I'll take pictures with you, $5 a piece, $2 for a signature.
And I'll just be looking pretty.
Yeah. We'll catch you after that game next week. Thanks, Kaz.
Yeah, it was fun.
We'll see you guys.
Hey, I'm Tony Tattoo coming at you from the wonderful Kildares Pub here, and I'm here with Lee, and this is Polititalk. So Lee, what's on your mind today?
Well, I think we should talk about a couple things. I don't feel that we did a good enough job on pipelines last time, so let's
I agree with you.
Let's chat about pipelines.
Let's
Tony,
do that.
I want to hear kind of where you're at, and then I'll give you an Indigenous perspective, and I also want to bring an environmental perspective.
Sure. What I found and what I like about Jason Kenney's platform, our new premier, I would love the fact that he continues on the road of including and creating a coalition of indigenous people to become part owners of this thing. It's a win-win thing. I don't understand what our problem is federally. We have no problem seeming to get railways through Canada, and as far as I'm concerned, pipelines fall under the same federal jurisdiction as railroads. So let's get this pipeline going. What's the holdup?
Well, okay, so let's talk about the legalities of the pipeline really quickly.
Sure.
It's boring, so we don't want to spend a bunch of time on it.
Yeah.
The pipeline issue becomes an issue, much like we talked about last time. Oil comes out of the ground on First Nation territory,
Right.
and then we got to commute it to the coast so that we can send it to Asia,
Right.
so that it can get turned into plastic. So the issues that we have between the oil coming out of the ground and shipping it, it's the environment. Unfortunately, Canada in 1867, when we created our constitution, and we had Section 92, which is provincial powers, and Section 91, which is federal powers, there was no such thing as the environment. It was, let's put railways in, who cares? Like Sir John A. Macdonald made millions by being a proponent. Our first prime minister was involved in the very first scandal because he was part of, hey, look, let's open up all of Canada and extract resources and be, like take all these resources. So, but the environment was never part of the Constitution. So by its void, the federal and provincial government in 2019 go, okay, so who's going to be responsible for the environment? Alberta would say, look, it's a local issue. Right. If when we bring it out or if there's a spill, that's a local thing. Right. The federal government says, no, it's a federal thing. Once we cross provincial lines and we're talking about national energy, it's a federal. So we get the back and forth. So that's why we have Alberta and BC and the federal government going, this is my jurisdiction, I get to make the call. Right. So it's all shit. It's horse shit. At the end of the day, let's peel the onion and go to the root. At the end of the day, this is all about getting our fossil fuels over to China so that they can convert it to plastic. Tony, I want to say this. Okay. If we are genuine, let's just acknowledge that we're buying plastic so we can build shitty things like this on a disposable basis. Every 2 years, I want a new garden hose. I want, we are part of the problem. If we take an environmental perspective and think about every consumption that we make, we don't have to do this. This debate is happening. Donald Trump, I've got a thesis. Donald Trump is a devil. Let's do that one another show. Sure. But it's all about how do we consume more? How do we just base our worth on how much we consume? Walmart exists because we have a bunch of people that want to just buy shit. We need plastic to make that happen, and we got to get the oil out of Alberta so we can send more oil to China so that can happen.
I really appreciate what you're saying, and the thing is, now kind of brings me to not a different direction, but along the same lines. I don't think that charging a carbon tax on a fossil fuel or whatever else we got going on does a fucking thing. I think, and I agree, that we should be putting that money, and not call it a tax, but that money towards a global effort to clean up our oceans of plastics. Because absolutely, that I see as being the global epidemic right now.
Right. So I get what you're saying, and let's talk about it, Tony. Sure. How does it? There are two ways to correct behavior. You can either reward good behavior or you can punish bad behavior. Right. That's kind of what we try to do. So the carbon tax says, look, our usage, it's called a carbon footprint. What is your carbon footprint? If as a company or as an individual or as a country, our carbon footprint is more than 1-to-1, which is what I should be using as an individual. If it's more than that, then you gotta purchase, you gotta acquire those tax. So you see commercials now with Budweiser and the big companies are saying, look, we are committed to making sure that our carbon footprint is exactly what it should be, which is a good thing. And they're doing it because they also have an incentive to make sure that the bad behavior is punished, good behavior is rewarded. First Nations are now, and I hope Jason Kenney picks us up on this because it's massively huge.
This is your opportunity, man.
Jason Kenney, talking to you. Want you to implement this right now because First Nations, we do not use more carbon than our footprint allows. We are always way under. So we have credits because our territories are relatively big. we have the ability to authentically brand these carbon credits. These are better than any other credits because you're also helping First Nations to get out of poverty too.
Absolutely.
So it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
So big companies should be going to First Nations specifically and trying to get carbon credits from them.
Right. Absolutely. Great idea.
It's a beautiful idea.
Why haven't you thought of it yet?
Jason Kenny, this is for you.
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay, so should we move on?
Sure.
Pipelines for now we're good, or you
pipelines? We just need to
Let's pick it up. Let's make sure next show we talk about pipelines again because it's a recurring thing.
It is until it gets started.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me go into a new direction. I want to publicly announce this right here, right now. This show is world exclusive.
Okay.
In 2020, I am working with a group of amazing individuals. I want the viewers to look up Wilton Littlechild, who's an amazing brain just south of Edmonton in Samson Reserve, Maquachis, and he's Canada's ambassador to the United Nations. He's the smartest guy you'll ever meet. Perfect. He wrote the Truth and Reconciliation Report for all of Canada. Right. Along with some other amazing thinkers too. Mm-hmm. And the Truth and Reconciliation Report talked about a lot of things, including reconciliation needs to happen in every level, from government. The Law Society has been tapped, and to the credit of the Law Society and the University of Calgary, they've taken those that tap very seriously. Yeah. We're implementing incredible change to make sure that the average Canadian, the average Albertan understands that there is this horrible history between First Nations and Canada.
Yeah, we've been doing it so badly forever.
It's been horrible. Yeah. And it's been covered up. There's been the conspiracy to make sure that we don't let this information out. The information is now out on can't remember the exact date, but in 2009, when Prime Minister Harper, Conservative government, he apologized. Right. He said, look, this was a horrible part of our history. We got to move forward. Between 2009 and now, Tony, I don't know that's been 10 years. Yeah. I don't feel that we've done a lot of reconciliation between then and now. And I don't feel like the conversation's been elevated.
And I agree with you, and that's because a lot of people out there don't know what the conversation is. I'll speak on behalf of, I'm part Native, I'm part white. I'll speak on behalf of my part whiteness. That the conversation, we're unaware. I don't know whether it's blissfully unaware or whether, like you said, it's just kept under the carpet. And this is what we're doing today. I think it's like bringing these conversations out and them being realistic and going, you know what, if we haven't learned anything from the past, we haven't learned anything at all.
Fair enough. But we have, through this show and other mechanisms, we have the ability to get our voice out, I love this opportunity to have these kinds of discussions.
It's about education.
Things are changing, Tony, and what I wanted to say is that in 2020, during the Calgary Stampede next year, what we're going to try and do is have the world. So about 6 years ago, I was part of the world's longest hockey game that took place in Chestermere.
I remember that, Right? That was good.
And so it was amazing. Yeah. What an amazing experience.
And it was also great for a great cause.
It was, we raised, I can't remember if it was $2 million for the Children's Hospital.
If I remember,
it was it was a significant amount. Yeah. So I've always, since doing that, I wanted to do the world's longest hockey game from an Indigenous perspective. So I recruited Willie Littlechild and my friend Gino Ojic, who played with Vancouver Canucks. He's an icon of Aboriginal. So we have a board with some amazing people. Clayton Norris with Myers, Norris and Penny. Corey Wilson, who is the sister of Jody Wilson-Raybould. Awesome. Loa BB. Just our board is just amazing.
Yeah.
So next year, in 2020, we've been working with the Calgary Stampede board. They want to have a way where we can play this world's longest hockey game, break the record again.
Right.
The new record will be about 11 and a half days.
Yeah.
So the current thought is we're going to have the puck drop on July 1st, Canada Day.
Yeah.
We're inviting the Royals. I'm hoping the Royals can attend because in the spirit of reconciliation between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal Canada, we absolutely must have the Royals present to oversee, because the honor of the crown, everything that has to do with reconciliation means that the Royals have to preside over this and make sure that Her Majesty's honor is being carried out fully with all of Canada. So we're going to do that.
We know the individual that we could target doing that is, Prince Harry. I mean, he's the sporty of the bunch.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but so the whole concept, and I know we got to move on to the next topic, but in short, the idea is reconciliation happens every single weekend. I'm part Native, part white too, like you are. And every reconciliation conversation happens in every corner of our country, in every hockey rink, every weekend.
Right.
That's where this happens.
Yeah.
So if we can take that premise, bring it, have Don Cherry and Ron McLean preside over this greatest hockey day in reconciliation ever.
Again, another opportunity, guys. Opportunities knocking right now.
Yeah. So just a little.
Absolutely.
Be aware, this is coming up.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna have to. We covered so much ground here in these things, and we're kind of running out of time. But you know what? We're gonna reload for next week. And,
let's reload. I got 10 more things to talk about next week.
We're gonna get to all of them, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, Lee, thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Hi, welcome to Bar Talk. My name's Dan.
I'm Tony Tattoo.
Shauna Lee. How's it going, guys?
All right.
Today, our
It's
topic
on.
is the topic of today. The topic of the day. The day is the topic, and the topic is age gaps in relationships.
It's a good one. Yep.
Old men, young women, it's weird. Old women, young men,
And that's
it's
even
adorable.
weirder. Even weirder.
Harold and Maude, adorable. Anna Nicole Smith and that old crypt keeper she was with, disgusting.
Tony, thoughts?
You know what? I think guys don't know who the fuck they are until they're at least 35 to 40.
Yeah.
I know I just feel your essence burning into my head right now. But give me a chance here for a sec. First of all, women they mature faster. Their brains mature faster. They learn to fight with their minds. They don't fight with their fists. Well, back in my day, they didn't. Now it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's like trying to separate two women in a bar. Where they're trying to put each other's heels in their eyes. And they just don't fight fair. Clumps of hair and stuff like that pulled out. But I forgot where I was going with the point. The point is guys need to get shit out of their system. I believe. I mean, that's the reason why you got these guys, that are expecting, 72 virgins in the afterlife, and blowing themselves up all over the place because they didn't get the shit out when they're younger. It was go.
They're sexually frustrated.
Go forth and be before you make a promise to somebody, get it out of your fucking system. Don't go, I think I can do this, and look at everything else like that. Get the yayas out.
Yep.
Get all the shit out of your system. All right, I'm talking about guys. I'm not talking about girls. You guys, girls can talk about girls. I don't give a shit.
I'll talk about that
but
after.
I'll tell you what, it's just unless you do, there was always that one-off or whatever bullshit that happens.
I definitely agree.
You drank too much and all of a sudden, sorry, honey.
I actually agree. I was in a relationship and I was living with a gal. And I was a boy. I was a fucking child. Like, not like actually age-wise. I was like 23, 24.
And that's different from today.
23, 24. But I was a child. No, my whole life I pay my bills. I don't drink during the week. I get shit done. I don't go out and get rowdy with my friends every fucking night, but I was back then because I wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and I was like, well, steady sex, why not?
Yeah. Throw the dog a bone, away you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yes, you're right. You definitely change between. I found for myself, between 21 and 30 is when like I changed immensely, right? Because your 20s and you start responsibility, like jobs, whatever else. Relationships again become a little more serious, not puppy love anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a girl, I would say we're the same way. Like it takes us a while to grow up too. Maybe not quite as much as men, but definitely takes us a while to get there too.
So when the older person is going through a midlife crisis and they want to feel young again, they're single, they got the money, they're happening, or at least they think they are, and they want to be with someone younger. And they find that younger person. That younger person is going to school. And they say, I need a place to live, need a little spending cash. Is it prostitution?
Sugar babies.
Yeah, sugar babies.
Sugar
Is
babies.
that prostitution? Is it a form of, at least?
I think so, yeah. I think it's a form of. It's been around for a long time, and we discussed this, I think, on the last show or the second last show we did, sugar babies. You know what, though? I think if it's a mutual agreement, and I think if the girl is over a certain age, obviously not like under, not a baby, I think if she wants to be with a 60-year-old man, they both have an agreement, why not?
Yeah, I mean, with sugar babies, there's not always sex involved, but I mean, if an old man wants a little piece of arm candy when he goes to corporate functions
and
or whatever,
they both know the
agreements. That's one thing,
yeah.
And that's legal.
Totally
you can
legal,
do that all day long, but so situations are different. I mean, you can't go, well, that's everybody's got that under the table handshake and wink nudge nudge, but it's it could be. It dictate whatever they decide, whatever they agree on is what it is. The thing I think that is different is the environment is safer. It's not like prostitutes, jumping in a car with a John and then get dragged into some environment where they don't need to be or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't really know what the caveats in the agreement for sugar babies is, and that whole thing of legal. I'm sure they've thought legal things out.
Yeah, but like I said, it's an agreement between two adults. So
there's some sort of prenup or something in some of these cases.
Yeah, there's got to be some, like I said, some legal merit. Otherwise, these guys wouldn't be in business. They would be a prostitution ring.
But I never understood that whole 40-year-old dude mentality when you're just like, yeah, man, gonna date a 20-year-old. Fuck yeah. I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna talk to her about?
Well, there's not. I don't think there's a lot of talking going on.
Exactly,
that's the thing.
Exactly.
That's
it's
kind
like,
of the reason
you don't
they
watch
date 20-year-olds.
You don't watch the Kardashians. You're not on Snapchat, and she doesn't fall asleep at 8 o'clock after watching Alaska Gold Rush. It's like, what the fuck are you guys gonna do?
Well, it's like this, right?
Yeah.
It's like this. Hi, honey. We're here for dinner.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I never understood.
I gotta talk to talk to this person.
Hang on a second.
I'm gonna fucking slam that against your head.
I never understood that. And even without the age gap, I got buddies who are just like, I'm like, so what do you guys do? He's like, well, we just kind of hang out on our phones, and then I know
that's what makes me laugh these days.
And then we have sex, and I'm like, so that's what you want to do for the rest of your life? He's like, well, no, but fucking look at her tits. And I'm like, yeah, great tits, but those are eventually gonna sag. And you're eventually going to hate your life and get divorced at 40 and be
he'll be dead by then.
Be living on a futon.
He'll be dead by then. He's 60. He'll be dead by the time.
Futons are a noble bed. I don't care what anybody says.
Slept on a couple futons?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Oh, you just snorted.
Yeah, I caught it from my wife.
So age difference, yes.
So what's worse?
What?
What's worse? In society, not even society's eyes. What's worse in your guys' opinion? What's more shady? Old guy, young girl, or old woman, young guy?
I see
That's
it's
good.
a
That's a-
50.
that's
I
a
see
good one.
honestly 50-50 for me. I think
Yeah.
it's both like the same. I think it's the same. Like it shouldn't be any different.
I think
like,
the point is that the older person's already been through their shit. They know what they want. They, you know, and also I think we talked about it before. He's more trustworthy because they've got it all done out of their system and everything else like
and
that.
that's why I dated an older guy too, because they're settled, they've been there, done that, party scene's over, they're older, they want to settle down, job, house, car,
There you go, see?
treat you like a fucking lady.
And from the other end, that you got Miss you know 45 to 50-year-old corporate VP for a company who wants the younger harm candy,
Like
you know.
her son's friend.
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
Well,
Well, it depends on the age. Like I
can't
said, it
say
depends on
on
the
one
age.
end that
No,
it's
I
good
know.
for
It
the other
depends.
and
Yeah,
good
yeah,
for the
yeah.
other. It's
Depends
like,
on
you know
the
what?
age, though. Depends on the age. If they're over 21, I say give her.
You know what?
21,
Yeah, I mean,
it's like a
yeah,
little
exactly.
weird.
Over consenting age.
Over
it's like,
consenting
you know, like,
age, absolutely. But if they're like
We have the
18
fruit-
dating a 50-year-old woman,
I mean, thank God we live in a
Oh.
country where we have the freedom to do all
I
that.
was
but-
dying to find
Mama
a-
issues.
I was dying to find a 50-year-old woman when I was 18, 20 years old. Oh, the money, and they don't need
Dollar
they
bills.
They don't need a pill to have sex like old men do. They'll cook you breakfast in the morning.
they do.
Bake you
Yes.
cookies.
It's like it's
Oh.
just like dating your mom. It's awesome, right? It's just like dating your mama.
If you can get past that weird sexual thing, then yeah.
Oh my
If you can
God.
compartmentalize that and just live off of the free money and cookies.
You're seriously
You
disturbed.
figure? Yeah, you.
Seriously disturbed.
I love money.
I mean, I think about my mom and I was like, that doesn't.
I love money. Like I said earlier, I'll be here next weekend signing autographs. $2 an autograph, $5 for a picture with me. You guys can come
Oh,
on down
good
here.
Lord.
Here we go. All right. You know what? A little self-promotion never hurt.
There you go. Awesome.
All right. So
You guys
come
think
out to a little bit of a.
you guys think the age gap is totally cool as long as the chick or dude is over the age of 21?
Over the age of 21, yes. I think that's, you can make.
I've
that
never
decision.
followed that, but it's just I just think it sounds good.
It's half
How's
the
that?
age plus sex. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is Dan for Bar Talk.
Tony Tattoo.
Shine
Hot tub's
away.
bad. Hot
Thank
tub's
you.
bad.
Till next time.
Bye.
Back.
You guys got dandelions on your lawn? I don't yet either. But last year I had a bunch and I ripped them all out. I had people come up to me saying, "Hey, did you know the bees need to eat the dandelions? We gotta save the bees." We don't have to save the fucking bees. Somebody read an article online about 7 bee species going extinct on the endangered species list. And oh my God, all the bees are dying. The bees aren't fucking dying. All those species of bees are native to the Hawaiian Islands, while domestic bee populations in both North America and Europe since 2012 have been on a steady incline. Read a goddamn book, let me pick my fucking dandelions so I got a nice looking lawn, and mind your own fucking business. Fuck you. Another quick one for you here today. These professional athletes who are suing their former employers because they got concussions. No fucking shit, asshole. You're wearing a helmet and you're running it head first into another human being. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Now I know back in the day they said, you're fine, here's some smelling salts, get back in there. And yeah, that probably wasn't right, but they didn't know any better. The science wasn't advanced enough. Plus you got fucking paid. That's like the fucking people out in Quebec who are like, I got a black lung because of the asbestos. Well, no fucking shit. It's tiny little microfibers get caught in your lungs. Wear your goddamn PPE. I'm tired of people fucking being totally fine with something, and then once they get fat from McDonald's or they get lung cancer from Marlboro, are like, hey, you guys owe me money. No, you made your choice, fucking live with it. You played football, you made millions of dollars, and now you're fucking eating potato soup every week because that's all you can fucking chew because you can't close your jaw properly because your brain doesn't work properly. I don't know what to tell you. Shoot yourself in the chest so we can study your brain more, I guess. I don't know. But fuck, you made your money. You can give all that money back and then you can collect a proper pension for your fucked up noodle brain. Or you can just shut the fuck up about it and realize that you got a pretty sweet deal. You worked basically for 10 years and you got millions and millions of dollars. That's your trade-off. Early retirement, noodle brain. That's it for this week. Let me know what you think. I'll meet you in the comments and I'll tell you, go fuck yourself.
Hey, this is Tony Tattoo. This has been Wide Open YYC. And we have 45 faithful subscribers to our show, and this show is building a following. Please tell your friends to subscribe to our show on YouTube, and if you'd like to discuss any topics, just reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram. And hey, if you actually want to be on the show, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on. And just remember, be nice to everybody, and Randy Crow.